Hello and welcome. My name's Andy Crook, and I'm your host for tonight's training topic about how much do I need to retire. My mission is to help garage owners become more successful in business. And how do I do that? I deliver a training topic on one of the five pillars of business as I sit for about 15 minutes every week. Tonight's training topic's in the finance pillar, and we're talking about how much you need in your pension pot to have a comfortable retirement, or the retirement that you choose, which is probably more accurate. So without any further ado, let's get on with the training topic. So determine how much you need to retire involves a combination of factors, including your expected lifestyle, expenses, inflation, life expectancy, assets, and any investments. So what I've got here is a 9-step guide to help you work out how much you're going to need. And we're going to go through it one step at a time. The first step is to consult a financial advisor. Seeking advice from a financial professional is always the first step. I'm not qualified to give financial advice, so it has to be the first thing I tell you to do. You need to seek help from a financial professional to provide personalized insights, strategies based on your circumstances. So that's the first piece of advice. Now, some of you who've been listening for a while will know that way back in the mists of time, I wrote down 200 topics that I wanted to cover in these 15-minute training sessions. And around about the time that I went to see a financial advisor, I wrote down this topic because I came away from that session with the financial advisor fully G'd up about pension pots and how much you need to retire. So that's the first thing. Consult a financial advisor. It's often free for the first time, and you probably want to go and see a few to find one that you're more comfortable with, and the one who's you trust and whose advice you think you're going to follow. So that's the first thing. Find yourself a decent financial advisor and get some advice. The second thing you need to do is to decide how your association with your business will end. I've done a training topic on this, but basically you need to know, or you need to decide as early as possible, how are you going to finish your association with your business? Are you going to sell it to provide retirement income? Are you going to close it, which means there'll be no pot at the end, if you like? So you need to put money in a pension as you're going along. Or you're going to hand it over or pass it down to someone and maybe get some income from the business because you may still be a shareholder or they might still pay you. But you need to know that to work out how much you need in your pension pot, because this is going to influence massively how you operate your business in the final few years that you run it. So knowing this a long way out will allow you to plan effectively for the day this comes. Now, it doesn't mean that if you decide 20 years from the day you're going to retire, that you think, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to put money in a pension from now until the end, and then I'm just going to have the liberty to close it. And things change during that. That doesn't matter. But knowing how you intend to end your association is going to inform how you're going to run your business over a period of time and what you're going to do with your nest egg. So that's the second one. Decide how you're going to end your association with your business. The third one is to decide when you're going to retire. Determine your retirement age. Deciding when you want to retire affects the number of years your retirement savings will need to last for and how long you've got to create that wealth. Sounds obvious, but you need to have somewhere in the back of your mind a plan of when you want to retire so that you can put in place a strategy that covers the number of years you'll be retired for and how long you've got to save the money. Now, I think a lot of people don't really consider that if you want to retire early, you need more money because you've got to make the money last longer for. Now, that's a very simplistic way of looking at it, but it's sort of true. If you're thinking, all right, I'm going to bat on for a bit longer, then effectively you've got more time to save, and you don't need quite as much money. So that's the third thing, is decide when you want to retire. The fourth thing you need to do is have a have an estimate of your desired retirement income. Now, this isn't as easy as you may think. So, what most people want when they retire is an income that maintains their current lifestyle. And to do that, you need at least 70% of your income when you retire, which sounds like a big drop, 30% less, but there are expenses that you have when you're still working that you don't have when you retire. And an obvious one is traveling to and from work, because you no longer do that. So you can see how it's not easy to pick a number of the amount of income you want, but you still need if you want that income in retirement that maintains your current lifestyle, you're going to need a fair chunk of money. So the number I've put down here is 70% of your current income is like a good number to aim for. But you need to remember now, and when you go and see a financial advisor, they're going to ask you to come up with or provide them with information around other potential sources of income. So, and things you need to include in this is your state pension, any private pensions, and investments or potential passive income that you may have, and remember to consider that all in when you're looking at the number that you need. Now, we'll talk a little bit more about the state pension in a bit. I'm no expert, as I've stated at the beginning, but there are some things you need to know about the state pension as a self-employed person, and you need to get professional advice around pensions and your state pension and how much you are likely to get if you haven't paid in enough, which we'll come to in a sec. So the fifth thing you need to do is you need to factor in inflation. So you have to adjust your estimated expenses and income for inflation. We did a training topic a while back called Net Present Value, NPV, and in that we sort of discovered that inflation has averaged around about 3% over the last 20 years. So year on year, inflation floats around about the 3% mark. I know in recent times it's been a bit higher than that, but it takes a long period of time of it to be a lot higher than it has been for it to affect the batting average of about 3%. So what this will do is give you a more realistic view of your future costs and therefore how much money you will need. If you're putting money away now for later, the very least the interest rate needs to be is greater than the average inflation. Otherwise, the amount of money you're putting away now will be worth less than it is today, or you'll be able to buy not as much with the same amount of money in the future. We all understand inflation. So that's number 5. Remember to factor in inflation. Number 6, account for unexpected expenses. Include a buffer for unexpected healthcare costs and other emergencies. Now, as you get older, you're probably going to need more looking after, basically, and other emergencies. So whatever it is you think you've got a number on, remember, maybe I ought to add a bit on for healthcare or other emergencies. Stuff that you just can't, the reason they're called unexpected expenses is you can't really forecast them. So that's number 6. Which brings us to number 7, which is calculate the total amount needed. And there are plenty of retirement calculators out there that you consult with to get an idea. But the best way to do it is with a financial advisor to determine the lump sum needed to make good the difference between your desired income and your estimated income, which is basically what these calculators do. And one of the things that I've discovered when I've been looking into this myself is the 4% rule is a common guideline that suggests that withdrawing 4% of your retirement savings annually to make it last 30 years. So if you take whatever your pot is, your annual income as a guideline, is 4% of that every year you take out, and that will make that lump of money last 30 years. And that's kind of like the sound advice, if you like, is that we want our pension income to last 30 years. But once again, consult a financial advisor. So that will give you the total amount needed. That's number 7. Calculate the total amount needed. Number 8, assess your current savings. So work out how much you have saved for retirement in various accounts, investments, and assets. If you haven't always been self-employed, you may have had a private pension. You may have other assets and investments that you're going to lean on when it comes to your retirement. So make sure that you know what they are. If you have a savings account, and we've done a training topic about having a buffer, about having 3 to 6 months of your income in a savings account, just in case. And once you get in that habit, because you're saving for that, carry that habit on and you'll have more savings. And if you keep that going on, you can work out how much you will have saved in a savings account that has got nothing to do with your pension if you're fortunate enough to be in that position. And then you're going to calculate the gap. Subtract your current totals from the total amount needed. This will show you any shortfall or surplus that you need. Remember, when you're looking at your current savings, include the state pension in there, and like I said, private pensions and other investments or passive income. Now, a little note here about the state pension. You need to have paid in, currently, I think it's about 30 years to get the pension. If you haven't, you won't get the full pension, and we'll give you the numbers a little bit later. But it's not guaranteed that you will have accrued enough for you to get the full state pension. So you need to look into that. There are ways you can go and enter your national insurance number and find that out. But once again, if you consult a financial advisor, they'll be able to do all that for you. If you give them the information for all of your savings, pensions, and assets, they should be able to put a package together and say, this is where we are currently, and this is the amount we need to get to, and therefore we can come up with a plan. And that's number 9. Adjust your savings and investment strategy accordingly. If there's a shortfall, consider increasing your savings rate or adjusting your investment strategy to potentially generate higher returns. Regular reassessments on progress and then make adjustments. It's just like planning for anything. Planning for retirement, it's no different. You have to take stock every now and again, work out whether what you're doing is working. Is it satisfying the end aim, or do you need to change the strategy? It's as simple as that. And that's number 9. So as we come to the end of how much do we need to retire, you're probably thinking, well, he hasn't told us. He didn't give us a number. Well, everyone's circumstances are different. But here is the atomic action for this week. Every time we do one of these training topics, I try and give you an atomic action, which is a tiny step that you can do that will help you on your way in business, or in this case, for your retirement. And that is calculate how much you need in your pension pot. And the best way to do this, I've said, is to consult a financial advisor and get professional financial advice. The sooner you do this, the better. The later you leave this, the harder it is to make any shortfall. So, according to retirement living standards, a pension income of £12,000 is required to live what they've termed an essential level lifestyle. I don't know what that means, but I guess that's, when they say essential level, that's eating beans on toast and keeping the wolf from the door. And what I've worked out is the state pension falls short of the essential level of living as decided by retirement living standards, because if you only get the basic pension currently, and this is the latest figures for 2024, so April effectively on for this year, the basic pension is £8,814, And the full pension, so if you've paid all your stamp, is £11,502. Some for 400 odd pounds short of where you need to be to live the essential level lifestyle. So I've worked out that you would need a pension pot of around about £30,000 to top up the state pension if you got the full pension of 11,502 to get the £12,000 you need by drawing off around about 4% each year. The numbers are not exact, but I've rounded them up so it makes it easy for me to remember. The same people, the retirement living standards, have estimated to live moderately, a single pensioner would need around about £24,000 a year and a pension pot of £260,000. So if you want to live moderately, and I don't know what they mean by that, I'm sure if you looked it up, it will explain it, but you need a pension pot of around about 260. That's to top up your state pension of 11,500 to the 24,000 that you would need in income to live moderately. And to live a more comfortable lifestyle, and let's be fair, we all want to probably do that when it comes to retirement, especially if we put the hard work in of running our own business over a number of years. So what does a comfortable lifestyle look like? Well, they did give us some clues for this one. This is replacing your car when you want to, long haul holidays, etc. This is what that comfortable lifestyle looks like, and we guess we all know that. And what they're saying here is you would need £34,000 a year in income and a pension pot to provide that of around about 375,000. So they are the numbers. So how much do you need to retire? Well, it depends on the sort of lifestyle you want once you've retired. And if you want an essential level of lifestyle, you need 30 grand, because that tops it up to the £12,000 that they've identified as the minimum level, essential level lifestyle. You need around about £260,000 in your pension pot for a moderate lifestyle with an income of 24,000, and £375,000 in your pension pot for a more comfortable lifestyle and an income of about £34,000 a year. Remember, that's in today's money. By the time you get to retirement, I don't know how long away or how far away that is for you. Remember, inflation will have been a factor, but hopefully you'll be accruing interest on any monies so that you know that when you get there, that number will be higher. So if you think 375 now, and you think, oh, that's great, because I'll be able to sell my business for that when I get there, you've got to remember that 375 times 3% compounded between now and when you retire will be the number. This is the number today. So the one key takeaway from today is you can't leave it to your state pension. You have to make sure that you're putting enough contributions into your state pension to make sure you get the full state pension. That's something you can do immediately and look into for yourself. But the other thing you need to do is you have to get professional financial advice. And the sooner you do it, the better, the more likely you're going to have a retirement that is comfortable. And if, God forbid, you don't make it that far, if you've put something in place, then the people who you leave behind will have something to ease their pain and maybe put you in a hole in the ground or set fire to you once you're gone. Hopefully that's made you think a little bit about your pension and what you need to do about it. If I've done that, then I've done my job. If I haven't, then I've failed, and I'm sorry if I have. Hopefully you're all going to go away and hopefully consult a professional advice, and we're all going to have a comfortable retirement. Thanks for listening. See you next time.